welcome everybody to another Haunted Vermont episode. My name is Paul Dolsky, and today I bring you a book review of recently released Arcadia Children's Book Publishing series, Creeps and Shrieks Comes the Wake Beast of Burlington by Alex Henry. The plot. The description of the book reads from the Arcadia Publishing website, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Burlington, Vermont has always been Phil's favorite place in the world. From maple syrup farm to shimmering Lake Champlain to Ted and Barry's ice cream. What's not to love? So when Phil's family decides to spend the summer visiting friends on the lake, he is thrilled. That is, until the twins, Fia and James, tell him all about the people who have mysteriously disappeared after swimming in the lake, and the terrifying beast said to lurk below its surface. Phil isn't about to let some silly old legend ruin his summer, or his ice cream. But when an unseen creature in the water nearly attacks him, he had no choice but to team up with his friends to take down the lake beast once and for all, unless it gets them first. First off, I just want to say a thank you to Arcadia Children's Book, also known as Arcadia Publishing, for sending me a copy of the review. Released on June 3rd, 2024, Arcadia Children's Publishing started a new series, Creeps and Shrieks, which at the time of writing this review, or as you're listening to this, because I am definitely kind of going off of what I've already written, but I'm doing it for audio form for you guys that may not have the time to read. So that includes this title as well, as there is already 4 titles within the Creeps and Shrieks. The first 2 were released sometime around September 2023, while the latest release, June 3rd, 2024. Now, I know like most of us possibly reading this grew up with the writings of R.L. Stine. There is an image from Arcadia Publishing or Arcadia Children's Book. As the image mentions, it reads, R.L. Stine's Goosebumps gets the local treatment in Creeps and Shrieks, ABC's spine-tingling middle-grade horror fiction series. These spooky and mysterious tales will take readers on exciting adventures through some of America's haunted cities and regions. Now, if that doesn't already want to make you want to read this, I don't know what will. Because of R.L. Stine, I just want to put out there, in case R.L. Stine is still writing Goosebumps. And lately, he has been writing for his new series currently called House of Shivers. And ironically, the third book, if memory serves me right, called Goblin Monday, has been basically inspired by Vermont. And R.L. Stine finally makes it into a town of Vermont for a book. So if that's awesome and not awesome, then I don't know if you heard about it or not. I would definitely recommend that as well. That title is called Goosebumps House of Shivers, Goblin Monday. Check it out. Back to the Wake Beast of Burlington review. Phil and his family head to Vermont for the summer, July in the atmospheric time and most highest chances of a champ sighting. Upon the arrival at the parent friend's rental house due to a fire caused by exploding Quinn, which Quinn, if I'm even saying it right, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it right, but it's one of those type of ovens where it's basically used for pottery. Well, apparently in the book here, you could say their house went up in flames because of an explosion. More on that later, maybe. Anyway, James and Fia, who are children of Hank and Mitzi, who are the twins of Phil and Lucy, which are basically, who they're visiting for the summer. Anyway, showed Phil and Lucy around just like a Vermont hot summer day. The sound of an ice cream truck approaches, going back for a bit. I just wanted to also mention that Alex Henry, who wrote the book, describes he lived in New York, but also loved to travel to Vermont, where he mentioned some of other things that Vermont is known for, like recognizing the Burlington baseball team called the Vermont Lake Monster. He mentioned Ben and Jerry's. He even mentioned Echo, the Science Center. He really did some digging to help bring the story to life and acknowledging landmarks even throughout Lake Champlain. Alright, back to it. So, with that being said, the ice cream truck stops and the kids are gathered by the truck to get their treats. Some already knew what they wanted. Phil, however, could not really figure out what he wanted because there were just so many good choices from the sound of it. So the driver, named Ted at the time, of the ice cream truck, which is also should be mentioned on the side of the truck, is his ice cream company known as Ted and Barry's Ice Cream. Sound familiar? Anyway, at this point in time with the book, strange occurrences haven't necessarily taken I would like to call it a full speed ahead yet. But a few things had Phil uneasy, like how he spotted a mysterious green glow from a window, yet no one saw it, not even his sister Lucy. Yes, Lucy. What's up with girl names entitled Lucy for projects lately? I mean, we have another one, that movie. Anyways, Ted, who was passing out the treat to the kids, even mentioned how they should not be venturing outside at night, because the legend of the lake monster may be true, and if they ended up in the path of the said monster, Ted mentions it liked to chomp on bones of trespassers. Now, just to kind of cut it short, because it does get into some very interesting horror element for kids, especially when they're taking a dive at night, where, like Ted was mentioning, you don't want to be out at night. So the overall story is pretty much, it feels just like you read in an R.L. Stein, but Alex Henry keeps it modern with some known phrases kids say, while keeping Vermont popular culture always in the atmosphere of whatever the scene is at, like pancakes without delightful maple syrup, taking a field trip to Echo, the Science Center, which the Phil is hands down says that the maple syrup is by far the best in the universe. Do you agree? Is Vermont maple syrup the best in the universe? I mean, I wouldn't judge if you were biased. I mean, what's your opinion? The story takes a turn when Champ comes into play, like I just mentioned, with the whole diving and swimming at night. It's not such a great idea, especially in Lake Champlain and your parents aren't paying attention, and it's you and the twins, and even your sister's fast asleep. So this isn't a good thing already. And if that doesn't make it any more spooky, then wait till you read what happens within that night swim. However, it's just like you would expect, It's a family vacation, and it's July, which kind of makes me think of, I wonder if Alex Henry kind of set the tone around July of a summer because of the infamous, event that occurred on July 5th, 1977, when Sandra Mancy got our known photograph of Champ that is pretty widely well known today, which people have been saying they can debunk it by being a piece of log floating in the right turn, the floating log, everything else. What? I guess you never know. I mean, nobody had Photoshop back then, and unfortunately the pixels and stuff for film wasn't the greatest back in 1977. But anyway, that's left for you to decide if Champ is real or not. But with the overall tone of this book, I just with everything else aside, I just couldn't stop reading the book. It really made me engrossed with how the writing was, and like I mentioned, the known hints of actual events inspired the story as well, but taking more of a twist of cat and mouse, like I was mentioning with the night swim. You could almost say it was sort of like maybe a cat and mouse was about to happen. The kids wanted the truth out there, so guess what? They did everything they could to pretty much go after what they think was Champ. Did they succeed? I guess you'll have to learn by reading. I totally would recommend this book because I personally have to check out the others in the series because, you know, nowadays it's very hard to get kids to read. But if I remember back in my days, Goosebumps was what kept me reading. I would say. It engrossed me in hell. I'll even be honest. Even at my age right now, I still read Goosebumps because it's just part of the nostalgia. And the fact that he's still writing is just amazing. Yes, some stories that I've read from R.L. Stine may not be the greatest, but hey, you know what? You gotta remember, not everything lasts forever. And, you know, sometimes you just gotta hand the crown over, and when that happens, who's gonna be the one telling the story? Well, in this case, I feel Arcadia's Creep and Shriek might just be that. Because, let's just put it this way. We need more children's books that take inspiration of true accounts and turn them into education class, per se. Children deserve to know and need a fun way of learning the mysterious tales around the state, or even the world. You need to let them draw their own conclusions from the experience. Besides, they are our future, and maybe they can bring out ideas to the table of cryptozoology that many of us haven't even had the chance of thinking about trying to make it work, of getting unknown cryptids more in the spotlight, I guess, or more proof. I mean, you just never know. It's also a good story to tell around a campfire. And I mean, what better way to read this to your kids while camping in Port Henry, where there is a camping ground right by. Or there's another one right by Button Bay, I'm pretty sure. So just grab the book, get a campfire, and enjoy your stay, and look out to the waters, because you just might find yourself staring at Champ. The Lake Beast of Burlington by Alex Henry is now available from Arcadia Children's Books or Arcadia Publishing. You can go grab one at your local bookstore. You can order it from Arcadia Publishing's website or, Amazon, the usual. So, I hope you enjoyed this little review of The Lake Beast of Burlington by Alex Henry.